are some places in Anatolia, the cradle of civilization, that witness deep-rooted history that can be referred not only to centuries but millenniums, due to its location and with the history, nature and culture assets hosted therein. Our country of Turkey is one of the unique countries that shed light not only to the history but also to the future of the humanity with this deep-rooted history. It is entrusted to us by our ancestry and shall be entrusted to our children. We are born here and we live in this land. We farm and cultivate the fields, vineyards and orchards of this land. We walk and rest under the shadows of pine trees, great plane trees and cedars. Sometimes lounge on the grass and have a rest. Sometimes we dance the hallé together, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, birds over the mountain summits, of which reach the clouds gently blowing breeze. Flash of lightning, rains and soil, cascading waters coming from the great mountains, become the upstream of the dams, reservoirs. By crossing the valleys, these are the landscapes of my motherland that should be seen. The land is the place which is visited by Evliya Çelebi, the famous traveller, twice and admired and said that heaven is either under or above this land. An ancient capital at medium Black Sea region is the Kelkit Valley. Its name is Niksar. As Ozan Çağat Kulübü says, when you look you can see nothing but its motherland, with its juniper, alder trees and dusty roads between Tokat and Niksar. It is such a city that's so cute to sing songs for it, so beautiful to make poets write poems, and vast as much as the history. Your mountains are green, your vineyards are green. What a plentiness you have. You are married with green, my lovely motherland. Another poet mentioned about this city like this. In the history, it can be clearly understood that this city in Anatolia is not selected as a settlement area just because of coincidence. The strategic location and some other particular characteristics are the evidence of having this city been selected as a capital twice in history. This city has a vast history that hosts important findings about history of religions together with its trade routes, pack trails, madrasas, where education of medicine to astronomy were given, and with its historical and cultural assets. An adoring city, Niksar, with the trinity of nature, history and culture, is a city which should be visited, seen and known today. It is very easy and comfortable to access. When you fly to Tokat or Samsun, you can take a road trip around 45 to 50 minutes to come to Niksar with a travel in nature. The history of this city, Niksar, is ancient as much as Anatolia, and it is as much beautiful and rich as Anatolia. Whereas it is possible to see many historical ruins from the times of Romans, Byzantium, Seljuk and Ottoman empires, everywhere in this city at each step you take. Niksar, which smells history, is such a city that is joined in Historical Cities Union. Another feature of Niksar is that it is the second city in Anatolia, having the biggest castles. This city, located in the middle Black Sea region, is 100 kilometers far from the Black Sea in the north. I wish you can see the unique beauty of Chanluk Mountains and uplands. Breathe the pine smell and have your breakfast, or you can enjoy the sea holiday pleasure at Unyai Coast, only a 90-minute trip. There is Niksar Plain in the south of the city, which is irrigated by the Kelkit Creek within green landscape. The stopping point of the passengers on the Tokat Niksar Road. A frost from Keltepe, where you can look from the highway Niksar. You are a taste at Chankaya Slope and a golden necklace in the double chin. As in metaphor in the quatrain of Bashkan Duran Yadiyar, Niksar and Chankaya Hill have such a beautiful view as mentioned in this metaphor. When you drink your tea, it is rather like watching a green sea refreshed by Celtic Creek. Niksar Castle, for which such songs sang, is the oldest historical artifact lived since in this city, and is one of the most important meeting places in Niksar. Niksar was the capital of the Danish Mendes in 1076, included in the lands of Selçuks in 1175, when it was conquered in 1341 by Targetinulları. Niksar became the capital of this Belgic. The castle, which was started to be restored in 2010, shall be completed in a short time. Another history, Yahybasan Medresa, in this castle is the first university where medicine education was given in Anatolia with its unique architecture. These rooms where students had lessons in there are places that reflect the history today. When Yahybasan Medresa is lighting the history, it also hosts many organizations of art in the city, besides being a resting place for the visitors. This organization and activities, which starts in front of the Yahybasan Medresa and spread along 4 meters, enable the youth of the region to exhibit their skills by merging them with art, which are amazing for the audiences. After a tiring day or week, friends come together at this castle to eat, drink and meet each other. Watching Niksar, that is wearing a green cloth, is an ambition for all Niksar citizens. When you watch the city from the castle, you feel as if you are watching the city from the clouds. There is Maduru, on right of the castle, a vicinity in the shadows of fruit. With bird's eye view, a green plain in front of you with sunshine. When you turn left, another vicinity of the city, Erbaa, which is within the vineyards. The name of this hill is Harmancık, another excursion point of the city. There is Martyrs Memorial within the roses. There is another meeting place just behind Harmancık, that is Ayvaz City, Forest and Park and Ayvaz vicinity. The apple of Niksar citizens' eyes, which is always visited in summer and winter. Ayvaz is a source of famous Ayvaz potable water and the place where the water is bottled to reach our homes. Water is culture, life we say, and it is not possible for us to live without water. Niksar, where there is rainfall in every season, is almost like a water basin from the soil of which richness pollutates. Niksar is a city of natural potable waters, which can be considered as one of the minor unique cities hosting such a resource of life. Human, soil and water. Human undersigned the most important discovery of that age through its triplet, vertical watermills. Did you know that these vertical watermills were first discovered and used in Niksar as mentioned by the famous geographer Strabo from Amasya in his book? Human, who assessed soil and water, this time shaped and formed the wood and the turning stone therein. Water that turns the stone, crush the wheat to turn it into flour. That makes basic nutrition for people. Bread, essential food on the table. This is the brief story of bread. The importance of vertical watermills is at age and the role of Niksar, the city of waters in trade. Everything is important for humanity and humans, and in the meantime, so necessary. Despite technological developments, sometimes people search for a different taste of nature and enjoy it very differently. Where there is demand, supply is inevitable. In this region, where upland culture developed, butter churn is an essential demand for making buttermilk as a matter of nature. It is possible to see the endeavour of butter churn master to sustain this tradition of ancestors in the wooden products he produces so that to supply the demand. Nature is very generous in this region. Various types of forest products surround Niksar and near vicinities with the mountains of Middle Black Sea region. Akinci village cedar forest is a typical sample of this. This cedar species, which is rarely seen in the world, is the Lebanon cedar, which is resistant to water and is used in boat and yacht building. Celtic Basin is one of the most important basins in the world. There are many types and species of fruit trees besides the forest and the vegetation cover. Plum tree is hard and fragile as a fruit tree. Therefore, utmost care should be given. Another master in Niksar shapes this hardwood and forms it. Yaşar Güç, who is a master of traditional folk music instrument, has an award from UNESCO for intangible cultural heritage and living human treasures. He sustains a tradition he has learned from his ancestors. He produces shrill pipe, shepherd's pipe, and end-blown flute in his modest workshop. Wood produces voices in his hands and becomes an emotion and music. As we say, handicraft is priceless. There is a great effort, devotion, art, aesthetics and human intelligence in the essence of these products, and there are many types of these pleasant products. We select with utmost care what we like and to make happy whom we respect. Our aim is generally to be remembered and to remind we buy it at once as a small present. These products, having various types, are from Niksar. These are produced by the women of the region with their skills, in the workshops at the street of woman manufacturers. It is possible to see such workshops everywhere in the city. These products, which are being manufactured within the mentor system, have a great contribution to the economy of the region and home economics. They are distributed from Niksar and marketed in all edges of the country. There is a great interest and demand. To understand and know history, culture and nature land, Niksar is only possible by visiting. When you look at its geographical layout, it wouldn't be wrong to name it as a city in the heart of the lakes. Another lakes welcomes you in the middle of the green after you cross the cloudy mountains and uplands. And when you come to the foothills, that is Zinav Lake. Again, there is another place of heaven, Atakoy Lake, just 20 kilometers far from Niksar. Embraced in nature, silent and cool. In the sunlight of a summer, this blue within this green land is rather relaxing, with gentle blowing winds. When you pass Atakoy, another lake welcomes you on the other facade of the mountains in the north after 15 kilometers. This is Almus Dam Lake. The length of its surrounding is 80 kilometers. This lake, bringing life to the region, is not only a natural heaven for human, but also for many bird species. There is an attracting tree on the bank of the lake. There is hundreds of herons therein, as if it is a private bird's hotel. There are some other similar trees here, but there is no birds thereupon. Why, we don't know. Herons only gather on this tree and fly from this tree, and they only sit on this tree. Almus makes us live 2 seasons together in a day. It lets us to reflect its wonderful view both under rain and in sunshine in our objective. Fishing, having picnic, sailing with a boat, cycling pedalo in the lake, rain and plentiness. The facility served to human in this lake. Do not go to a foreign place. You may return or not, said the minstrel Emra from Erzurum. And when he came and see Niksar, he stayed here. Again, famous poet Şahit Kulebi, whose childhood and youth spent in Niksar, wrote poems for Niksar, and his grave is in Niksar according to his will. Trucks carry sweet melon, but I always thought of her. I was free like a little sparrow when we were at our house in Niksar. Both of them are in their mausoleum. They lie side by side in Erbaa of Niksar, the city of vineyards. They watch green Niksar, Çanakçı Creek and Artova together. Perhaps how many times they went to Keşfiye from Semanli, from historical Leylikli Bridge to Artova. And how many times they drank tea, coffee at a corner of Adali. Artova, the oldest and first bazaar of Niksar, just behind the Adali Cafe. You can access to the street after a few steps from Mastara. Previous name is Hükümet Street, but the new name is Fatih Sultan Mehmet. Do you need any supply from home? You shall buy dowry for your daughter, wedding dress or clothing for the groom, or you shall buy gold. You can find whatever you wish on this street. Money is not important. Payments shall be made in harvest time or any time later. It is a verbal agreement that is enough. The most important thing is trust in trade. This is what Niksar citizens have. There is an age-long plane tree at the beginning of the street, a little way upwards. There is a marble fountain just behind, municipality fountain. It is older than the tree, perhaps, as old as this plane tree. When you climb up the stairs, historical government buildings appear. It was built in 1905, a live witness of sadness and happiness of Niksar. Resisted to earthquakes, fires since years and still standing. However, when number of services increased, it was also retired. The government building is recently restored and serves to the city museum and municipality. On the right hand of the government building there is a stone structure on the road to the castle. Its name is Stone School. It is also a bridge from the past to the present in Niksar. Previously, it was a library. Who knows how many books were read in there? How many students studied their lessons there? There are almost traces of historical times. Niksar is a rich and open museum that makes history alive. This is Efkerit Valley and Luvi Caves. The ruins in this region are the first traces of humanity. There is a big mosque, Choreli, in downwards of the city. It is a name is given since there's two carved discs on the right and lift of its door which looks like cookies. All sorts of traces of history thereupon. The name of the fountain just behind the mosque is Reşadiye. It is made by merging various stones, carves and tombstones of various ages found in this region. The large tomb, Kirklizar, the story of which is known to everyone in the city. Plinths of window and doors of this structure, which was fully made of bricks, were painted in turquoise, cladding with glazed tiles. A typical sample of Anatolian Greek tombs. Jepni quarter, located in upward at the beginning of the bazaar, one of the outdoors of Niksar Castle is here. This century-old door, which is together within the houses, also serve perfectly today. There is an ancient mosque just opposite to the door of the castle, which have resisted for centuries, having the characteristics of Seljuk and Ottoman architecture, with its high minaret. It is called Ulu Cami, built in 1145. That is the mosque where conqueror Sultan Mehmet visited and performed salat. It is very interesting, not only with its history, but also its architectural characteristics and inner trims. This green vicinity, where you can hear pipes of the birds everywhere, is called Melik Gazi. Its name comes from the first conqueror of Niksar, Ahmet Kumuştekin Melik Gazi. Melik Gazi is the founder of Danişmendi State and the commander who made Niksar the capital of Danişmendi State. The grave of Ahmet Melik Gazi is in the modest mausoleum. The mausoleum and its surrounding are an open museum. On each Monday, villagers, upland citizens and citizens of near towns come to the city without negligence. Niksar welcomes everyone. That is the beginning of the week in the city. Everything is bought and sold. Vegetables, fruit, oil, salt, sugar. This is the bazaar place for production, effort and endeavour. Niksar leaned one side to the basin and one side to the uplands. Cemici upland is at the peak of Chanik in the north. Cemici is on the ancient Silk Route. This is an upland where domestic tourism is highly active. Cemici is the golden ring for tourism of today and future in this region, with its all-natural beauties. This is the place where highest oxygen concentration exists after Kars Mountains in our country. Furthermore, it is an ideal camp, exercise and picnic area for natural sports. Niksar, hosting to all kinds of beauties, is capable to welcome foreign and local visitors, travel lovers and nature and sports lovers, with 200 luxury bed capacity and 75 normal bed capacity. Niksar is like a sparkling star, as we have visited and presented to yourselves as being a city of nature, culture, history and tourism. If you knew how many springs and blossoms that have not opened in my heart yet. You are like a bird presented by the history, the city of my love. Time is not enough to live together lifelong in this heaven. Is it possible to see you but not to fall in love, my dearest Rosary Niksar? The ones having history, culture and nature passion.